Hello, everybody. Today I want to just talk about an idea that I've been thinking about for a while, but I just feel it's ready to actually explain and tell everyone else about. Basically, the idea revolves around write less code. That might sound odd if you know me in real life. I quite enjoy writing code. But realistically, writing code is always just a means to an end. So if we can make those means easier path to get to our end, it's a win-win situation. Um, so let's kind of take you back to the beginning of my journey of learning how to program. The person who I was learning from had been using Java and pretty much only Java for about 10 years. And he really enjoyed rewriting things that were already libraries. And so I don't know if it's because of his outlook on how he was writing code that influenced me, or if I just enjoyed doing that as well. But basically, you have some idea that you want to do. Let's say you want a JSON parser, whatever. Instead of just going and using JSON, it's like, oh, let's write our own. And it is kind of fun to rewrite some of those simple libraries, but also sometimes you just have to get things done. And so rewriting all these libraries that you should just be depending on, it's not a good deal. You might as well leverage the collective knowledge of the entire internet to get your projects done faster. Um, but then we can take it a step further instead of just using libraries. See, when I this kind of clicked for me is when I stopped using Rust for everything and started using Bash, which is kind of interesting. Now, obviously, I've been using Bash like, which Bash and everything in for to cd into your bin. Wow, look at all these programs we have. It's like you have a bunch of libraries already installed. It's pretty magical. And so why don't you just start leveraging those? So for example, I needed to encode some video, but the desktop I was working on was very low power and didn't have a good graphics card in it. But I had a different system that did have a good graphics card in it. And so I just needed to get those videos from point A over to computer B, which had a graphics card, re-encode them, and then move the encoded videos back over to computer A. If that makes sense. And you could do this in Rust, and it could be, it would never crash, right? Because you wrote it all, and you handled all your errors, and you matched all the results. That would be fine, but that's unnecessary. If something crashes, I can just run the program again. It doesn't need to be bulletproof. So I wrote it in Bash, and this was kind of eye-opening of like, wow, we can get a lot done. And here, let's see, we have 28 lines in this file. And this quite literally has file, and then the other file, the extension that you're going to turn it to, and then temp file. You just pass it what system you want to scopy it over to. And the file you want to scopy it, copies it over, it SSHs into the other machine, runs an ffmpeg command, copies the file back, and then deletes the temporary file on computer B. Super simple, right? All in 28 lines of code. So look at how much we were able to do in just 28 lines of code because we used it's technically less safe than using something like Rust, but it functions, and I actually got something done. That's very important. And so now you can think of like, oh, okay, so we should just use loosely typed languages and we should just write everything in Python and Bash. Well, not exactly. The idea I think we want to get away from here is that we should be using more libraries. And so I just kind of proved it again tonight. I was writing a library because, as you may or may not know, all the music streaming bots for Discord, they don't support YouTube because YouTube is mean, big bully. I'm not sure exactly why they do it, but they do. So cool, I guess. Um, so I was just gonna write my own because why not? It's not that hard. It's pretty trivial. Use like YouTube downloader and copy the file, then stream the audio into Discord. Pretty trivial. But it was even more trivial when we use the power of libraries. So I mean, you can see it's just 3 files here. Um, we could even let's see how many lines of code this entire thing is. All right, so if we cd into the src file, cat all into word count lines, 266 lines in total. It's a small project. At least I consider that small. Maybe some people don't, but I feel like that could be pretty universally considered small. So 266 lines of code, and I have 7 different libraries. And so, I mean, it's a pretty good ratio of libraries to lines of code, but it allowed me to get a lot of ground covered in a small amount of time because, we have Songbird, which does the actual audio streaming. And under the hood, it uses YouTube Downloader. You have Posey, whatever, that interacts with Discord, so you can set up slash commands and just a couple lines of code. .env, that's just so .env files. Export in local variables. Anyhow makes it so you handling errors is a lot easier, and then URL validation, pretty straightforward stuff. And so in a few simple lines of code, now it's running out on a server, and we can hop in a voice channel, go play. It thinks for a little bit. Oh, there we go. Hello, peoples of the SQL class or anyone else that has found their way to this video. This morning, I was talking with Bill, and ta-da, a working YouTube Discord bot. And it just use more libraries, and you'll get more done. It's really powerful. I would recommend it, highly recommend. Use all the libraries, especially for personal projects. There's no reason to not leverage every single library you can get your hands on. So yeah, just that's the idea. Use more libraries, write less code yourself, leverage the internet, have fun, have a good day. I've been up for like 20 hours, so goodbye. Have fun. Adios.